Welcome to those who have not been with us before, and welcome back everybody else. Last week we had quite the occasion of celebrating the reign of the Shuso, the last Shuso that went so beautifully. And this week we're going to be welcoming installing the new Shuso. One of the changes, there are a number of smaller and larger changes that we're bringing about now, is that the Shuso will have an assistant called a Benji. And so an assistant to help and also to substitute when the Shuso is not able to be here with us. So that will be part of what will unfold tonight. So what about Shuso? The Sangha is a community of spiritual friends, and we've all been developing very strong friendships along the lines of practicing together to really awaken to how to live in this world with others in a way that's peaceable and kind and patient. And that's part of the opportunity we have when we practice in Sangha. Together we learn the Bodhisattva way to live into the Dharma and to be of service to the world, not only to our Zen center, but wherever we go, however we participate in the activities of the world is where we have a chance to really contribute a benevolent presence and to manifest the truth of our life. In Sangha, we cultivate a wide awareness of the ways that we behave. So we become much more aware of how we speak, how we think, how we act, and how our behaviors in these ways affect others as well as ourselves, how they bring about the flavor, the feeling of being a person in the world, no matter where we are, not just at the Zen center, but everywhere we go. And in our own inmost private world, we come to a greater sense of peace and alignment with our values, what's most important, what's most sweet. So in this Zendo and in this Sangha, we begin to form a habit of being awake, of being present. This habit, whatever we're doing, we recognize whatever we're doing, we come to see much more clearly how we obscure and get in the way of our happiness, and how we waste this opportunity just to be real. You know, the social scene in a lot of parts of our lives at work and in the community can call on us to really invest a lot of energy into a facade, into a persona, and it's one of the sources of our sense of not being real, or not really being like everybody else. So in this practice together as Sangha, we get to come forward with grace and with humility and caring, and to express our gifts in a way that benefits ourselves and others. I say humility because so often one of the things that we confront in practice is a feeling of shame when we recognize that we're not actually who we're presenting ourselves as or we are expected to be. And the beauty of this practice is is understanding who we actually really are. We can be every aspect of ourselves, including the aspect that is loving, caring, generous, as well as the part of us that's stingy, fearful, reactive. This is all part of what we include in our human condition. This is all part of it. And when we begin to be free to show up genuinely, we can begin to work with who we genuinely are. And we can discover what lies within all of these behaviors, what motivates them, the habit energies that hold us in their grip, and the possibilities of letting go of some of that. So that's the jewel of this practice. We all have the capacity to wake up and to be present. We all participate and have ways to help this practice be alive and potent for all of us. We have a unique place in this great way. Each of us has our own unique spot. There's nobody like you. You don't need to be like anybody else but who you are. So today we're installing our new Shuso. This practice is commitment to deepen their understanding of the mind of the way and to model this, to be able to remind us all to do likewise. In Dogen's guidelines for how to comport ourselves in Zen practice, he says, what is called the mind of the way? What do we call the mind of the way? Not to abandon or scatter about the great way of the Buddha ancestors, but deeply to protect and esteem this great way, to maintain the regulations and entrust everything to the guidelines of this conduct. Really to appreciate the guidance that we receive and to keep in mind to embody it as best we can in all circumstances. This is what we are attending today as we install our new Shuso. When we say guidelines, we're referring to the precepts, which outline the various arenas of our life, how we use our bodies, speech, and mind, thoughts, and how this applies to our practice here together. All the rules that we have here have a reason for being. They are kind of sacred instructions. And they're rooted in, all of them are rooted in encouraging continuing awareness and inquiry. Not judgment, inquiry. Not only of our own experience, but also inclusive of how whatever we're doing affects our neighbors, those sitting beside us, those sitting across from us, those working alongside us during work practice, or walking by us during kinhin. The Shuso is a model for continuous practice. That is the aspiration of the Shuso. They're entrusted with this practice unceasingly. This is a very demanding training position, extremely, and it takes courage to take it on and willingness to goof in front of the whole Sangha, which is one of the great generous offerings of a Shuso, to show up in whatever state they're in and learn how to include it in an accepting heart. So they need us to support them, and they support us. We help them, and they help us. In this role, the Shuso must bow to all circumstances that arise in the Zen Center and respond with their best effort, which is all we ever ask of ourselves, is our best effort. And the Shuso does this so that we can all experience the center as a refuge, a peaceful place to practice, a safe place to practice, safe from each other's judgments, and then recognizing our own self-judgment, which is so much of what we work with in the practice. The Shuso attends most practice times, and those have recently expanded considerably. So it's even more time demanding than it was a while back. And they're part of the guiding committees, all of the work that we do in committees and decisions that we make. They support all the training positions and make sure that they're filled by one of you. They are the head voice in the Zendo, and beside the teachers, and communicate changes in the schedule and practices, etc. In addition to practicing for themselves, they're equally practicing for you. They keep their eye on what's going on and try to be sure that practice is well supported for all of us. They notice when we need to make changes, and they handle the little and big disruptions that mark the life of the Zen Center. So what they're doing is a direct support for the teachers to free us to offer the Dharma as best we can. There's a lot, once you begin to do training positions, you realize how much goes into the Zen Center, maintaining the Zen Center, so that we can come whenever we need to or want to, and have a place to sit that's all ready for us.